we've all heard of Friendsgiving, which is a celebration of Thanksgiving with your friends. Having a Thanksgiving feast doesn't mean your mom or your grandma has to be the host or the cook. According to our survey we took, most of us are in our 20s and early 30s, so dinner parties with our friends are becoming more common. After this past year of hosting many dinner parties myself, I've become more knowledgeable in how to place the dinner table, and I will use that for the rest of my life. Today I will demonstrate how to properly set the dining table. According to Emily Post, who is an American author for etiquette, she said, "Setting the table is not as hard as it seems." I will show you 3 different ways to set the table. The first will be the basic, second will be informal setting, and then the third and the last one will be the formal setting. The first setting I will show you is the basic table setting. Picture the word forks, F-O-R-K-S. And as you picture the word forks, you can start placing your tableware. F for fork, O for your plate, you forget the R, and then you have K for knife, and S for spoons. And remember that the blade of the knife always faces the plate. Next, I will show you a very tricky bread and butter and drink finger trick. So you take your hands and you take your pointer finger on each hand and you touch it with the tips of your thumbs. On this hand, it kind of forms like a B, so you know your bread and butter plate go on the left side. And on this hand, your hand sort of forms what looks like a D, so you know that the drinks go on the right side. And one really important rule to remember is that you only place utensils that you're going to use during the meal. So for example, if you're not serving bread and butter, you don't need a bread and butter dish. Next I will show you is where to place the napkin. There's 2 places you can place the napkin, on the left side of the fork or on the middle of the plate. The basic table setting is used for every day in your homes, whereas the informal table setting is used for a 3-course meal. A key rule to remember in any setting is that utensils are placed in order of use, from the outside in. For informal dining, you will need a fork for appetizer or a salad, and you'll place that on the far left. For this demonstration, we are having soup, so we will need to place a soup spoon on the far right. You'll also need to determine what drinks will be served during the meal. So for this case, we are having water and wine. And you always place the glasses at the top right above the spoons and the knife. Depending on what else is being served, you may have to have other utensils as well. If you're serving dessert, you will need to place a dessert spoon above the plate horizontally, and you always remember that the handle faces the right side. If you're going to be serving coffee at the end of the meal, you'll need to place the saucer and the cup on the right side above the spoon and knife. If you have more than 3 courses, you will need to use a formal setting. It is basically the informal setting, just the next level up. I will demonstrate how to properly set a formal dining set. This would be used for a very fancy dinner, which means that it's the least common setting of all 3 settings. For this setting, we will need a service plate or a charger plate. And this plate goes under the first course and then remains for all other courses. Remember that the butter dish always goes above the forks, and the knife will be placed diagonally across the plate with the handle facing to the right. Normally for a formal meal there will be some sort of toast. In this case, a champagne flute will be placed to the right of all the glasses, and immediately after the toast is done, the champagne glass will be removed. With a fancier meal, fish will be served. So we need to have a fish knife and a fish fork. Depending on when the fish is served depends on which place you set the fork. In this case, you can see that the fish fork is placed second, so that means your fish will be coming for the second course. And the fish knife is always placed to the right of the dinner fork. I hope you have learned a little bit of to set the table for your next Friendsgiving. We went over 3 different options. The first and most common is your basic table setting. The second was the informal setting, and the last and the least common is your formal setting. As we get older, we will host more dinner parties for our friends and for our family. And hopefully you will have the knowledge to set any table for any occasion. As Memorial Day and the 4th of July come around the corner, I encourage you to host a dinner party of your own and show your mom and show your grandma that you're able to host a proper dinner party. Thank you.